Hi there, welcome to the Treasured Wellness Show. Grab your mug of herbal tea, a notebook, and your Bible, and we will dive right in. I'm so glad you're here. Hi there, welcome back to the Treasured Wellness Show. I am your host, Michelle, and today we are picking up where we left off with 12 lifestyle changes that you can make right now, today. Get started. Maybe some tweaks, maybe some little small changes, or maybe some really big changes that you have decided that you're just going all in. You are jumping and you are going to make some really big changes for yourself or maybe for your whole family. So let me just kind of review, because this is week 3. This was a 4-part series of going through the 12 lifestyle changes. So the first week we talked about the first 3 lifestyle changes that you can make: drinking more water, eating more fruits and vegetables, and really embracing those healthy fats. You know, fat is not bad. Bad fat is bad. You put all 3 of those things together, and you were probably, if you did that, you're probably already noticing how much better you feel. If you just did one change, just one little change, you probably notice how much better you feel. So keep it up. That's great. If you are making small baby steps, that leads to very, very big progress over time. So keep it up. And then last week we talked about the next 3 lifestyle changes that you can make, and that was eating. No skipping meals. It's not the best idea, especially as we get older, to be skipping meals. Our body really needs that fuel, needs those nutrients, needs that protein, and we really are fasting anyway through the night, so it's really good to break that fast, and that's why breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Grandma was right. So it's really important that you are taking time to be aware that you are, okay, so maybe I am skipping more meals than I should be. Just start with adding 1. I know a lot of people that only eat 1 meal a day, and that does not help your metabolism at all. It really doesn't. So it's really important that we are keeping up with the nutrition, keeping up with the fuel that your body needs. We can't expect our brain to function optimally. You know, that expression, I'm not firing on all cylinders. Well, we can't expect our brain to be doing that if we are not giving it the fuel that it needs. So we need to be mindful of not skipping meals. And we also need to, when we are eating, we need to eat mindfully, chew often, chew well. Remember I said last week that we should be chewing at least 20 times each bite? Yeah, that's a lot. People are like, I don't have time for that. Well, you know, I challenge you to slow down when you are eating, be more mindful, be more present with your food, and enjoy the process. You deserve to take a lunch break, okay? Everybody deserves to take a lunch break. So make sure that you are slipping away even for 10 minutes and you are mindful and you are present with your food. And that also means not eating while you're working at your desk or scrolling on your phone or watching TV. You know, as often as you can, try not to. These tips are not an all or nothing, right? We are making steps towards a better optimal way of living, a better healthy lifestyle, and it takes time and it takes intention and it takes discipline, but there's no perfection in any of it. So that's why you just keep taking these steps forward. You keep on moving forward, and you are going to, before you know it, you're going to look up and you're like, wow, it's been 2 months and I have created this healthy habit of drinking water every single morning before my cup of coffee, or I am getting, you know, all of the ounces of water I need in every single day and I don't even have to think about it. Or maybe it's the fact that you are having more of a well-rounded plate where you're having some fat, some fiber, some protein, healthy carbohydrates. You know, you're having more of a balance. So it's progress. it's progress, and I commend you for all the little steps that you are taking to move the needle forward in your health. And then the sixth thing was cook more. So we've had, it's just so easy to not cook, right? It's so easy to not cook. But I challenged you last week to get back into the kitchen, start cooking more, really utilize the farmers markets to get some fresh food and fruits and vegetables and farm fresh eggs and their meats, and really start cooking more. Utilize your crock pot, that slow cooker, maybe your Instapot. Utilize it and let it do the heavy lifting for you. You can have amazing home-cooked, delicious meals. You can make multiple amounts so that you have leftovers, and you can freeze half of what you make so that on those really hectic weeks where maybe say you went out of town during the weekend, so you didn't have a plan, and you come back on Sunday night and you're like, I don't have a plan. Yes, you do, because you have a bunch of frozen meals in the freezer. Perfect. So these little steps that you make, it just makes your life so much easier. It makes your week so much more calm, and you're in control of what you're eating. There's so much that we can't control, but we absolutely can control what we put into our mouth. So that is why I'm doing this series of the 12 lifestyle changes that you can make right now. Does that mean you're going to be doing all 12 at once? No, maybe not. Probably not. Good for you if you are. But taking a few and building on them. That is what you want to do, because that is going to help you with consistency. It's going to help you with discipline, determination, intentionality, and you will be successful. So let's talk about today's 3 lifestyle changes that you can make right now. And number 7 is we're going to add in to crowd out. That might not make a lot of sense, but you're going to add in the healthier foods so that you're crowding out, or you're pushing away, or you're ignoring maybe the unhealthy foods. Because when we do that, we automatically don't want the extra stuff, the crappy foods, or the foods that aren't serving you. For example, if you are a soda drinker and you started drinking 20 ounces of water every afternoon at 2 o'clock, maybe you added some stevia flavor drops in that, or maybe you had a sparkling water for some flavor and some fizz. You started doing that every day at 2 o'clock instead of your regular 20-ounce can or bottle of soda. That is a healthy option. It's a healthier option, but you're adding something in to crowd out the unhealthy. It's not like you are depriving yourself. See, diets are all wrapped up in deprivation. At the core of it, that's kind of what it is, right? We're deprived of something we want. I am more of the school of thought of let's have a well-balanced way of eating. Make sure we're getting our nutrition from our food. Make sure we understand where our food is coming from, and understand the importance of the essentials, the foundation of our health, right? We need water. We need fruits and vegetables. We need carbohydrates. We need the healthy carbohydrates. We need healthy fats. We need certain things to have an optimal life and to be healthy, to be able to think clearly, and to be able to sleep well. These are certain basics, foundations that we need. So by doing this one little thing, adding in to crowd out, it really is almost effortless as time goes on, because before you know it, you're not missing that 2 o'clock soda, because you're still giving yourself something in its place. So keeping with the soda idea, if you really drink 20 ounces of a Diet Pepsi or a Dr. Pepper or something, switch to a soda that is more natural and sweetened more with stevia, for example. So there are some Zevia, it's called Zevia drinks. That way you're still getting your soda that you love, you're getting that carbonation, but it's a healthier option. You can start there and you can work your way down, because it's always so important to start somewhere where you feel comfortable starting. Otherwise, you could go cold turkey. I'm done with soda. I mean, you know yourself better, right? Everybody has a different personality and everybody can either go cold turkey or not, or somewhere in the middle. You know yourself. If going cold turkey is going to make you binge later, maybe 3 weeks down the road, a month down the road, it's not worth it. Let's ease your way in so that it becomes a healthy habit that you feel good about, okay? Because you want to feel good about what you're doing. And you don't want it to really mess with your routine too much, right? Because if it messes with your routine, it's going to be harder to stick with. So we're going to add in to crowd out more of the good stuff, less of the bad stuff, right? So for me, I would reach for another cup of coffee in the afternoon. I was always struggling. I worked really wonky hours, and so I was really struggling come, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would make more coffee without fail. And over time, I went to more of a half calf and then a decaf. But then I worked towards that herbal tea, drinking that peppermint tea in the afternoon or that green tea, because it helped boost my energy levels and it gave me that brain power, that alertness that I needed. So go small. If that's you, if you're used to that third, maybe fourth cup of coffee in the afternoon, just start small with maybe doing a half calf or a decaf even, and work your way to it. That worked so much better for me to stair step it down. Now, yes, there were days that I said I'm not having any coffee and I'm going right to a green tea, and I was fine. But I think it's because I wasn't so rigid. I gave myself grace. Some days are easier to be rigid than others, right? So you know yourself better. Give yourself grace. And now it is rare, very rare, that I have an afternoon cup of coffee. And if I do, it's generally like a mushroom coffee. So I'm getting some good adaptogens and good nutrition and not just a hit of caffeine. So it's good for you to find what works for you. Okay, so that's number 7, add in to crowd out. And then number 8, we're going to use smaller dishes. I know you've heard this, but because I'm a visual, I wanted to bring you some examples. They say to use a dessert plate instead of like the supersized dinner plate. So I have an example. I have several examples here that you can do swaps. It's making healthy swaps. That's what it's about. Just making some healthy swaps that work for you so that you don't feel deprived, right? So here's a dinner plate. It's pretty large, pretty standard. And these dishes are so old. I got these dishes for our wedding, and it's Corelware. And oh gosh, they're so old that it's wiped off on the back. But they're 30 years old. So it's pretty cool because they have been the best dishes. They haven't, I think I've broken very few, and some of them have hit the floor a few times. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, good dishes. But so this is your standard dinner size, okay? So maybe consider going a little smaller. Going just a little bit smaller. You can see how the inner side, the circle on the inside, is smaller than the bigger white round plate. So go a little bit smaller. Now, if you were to jump right to a dessert plate from this, you're going to feel really deprived, aren't you? Chances are, yes, you're going to feel very deprived. So you might want to baby step it down a little bit. And then I have another size for you. So this is, again, smaller. But you can still fill this and you can still feel satisfied with the amount of food that's on your plate. And then, yes, if you really wanted to, you could go down to the dessert plate. It depends on what you're having, right? So another good example of cutting back, because it's not always about eating less, right? A lot of it is about what are you eating? Because eating less of the simple carbs that turn to sugar in your bloodstream like that is not necessarily going to help you, because you're just going to be hungrier and then you're going to eat more of those simple carbs or that turn to sugar in your bloodstream. So it's more about the quality of what you're eating. So if you like sandwiches with chips or something crunchy, chances are you probably could have your lunch plate this size, because you've got a whole sandwich, chips, and maybe a pickle. But consider using something like this as your lunch plate. Do half a sandwich, really build up that sandwich, extra meat or, the lettuce and tomato, all of that. And then you can have your pickles on the side and maybe some raw veggies with some dip for that extra crunch too. You've got some variety or some healthier crackers. So if you are trying to reduce the quantity of the food that you're eating, the amount of food you're eating, switching to a smaller plate can be super, super helpful, as long as you are putting the good stuff on this plate and you're not feeling deprived. So this would be a good size for lunch. For dessert, maybe something more smaller like this instead of, you see it's a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can really, a little bit smaller. But it makes a difference. It makes a difference because you're still getting all of that dessert, but you're having less quantity, but you're getting all the flavor. And with that in mind, let me put all my dishes back. With that in mind, oftentimes, what is dessert? A lot of times in the summer, it's ice cream. That's a big deal. Ice cream, or it's maybe some cobbler with a scoop or two of ice cream, or whatever it is. So I brought some bowls to show you too, because you can have the larger bowls, and that's pretty deep. I mean, that's a good healthy serving right there. But maybe you don't want to eat that much. Maybe you want to cut down. It does trick our eye, right? When we see something larger, we want to fill it right up, right? So maybe you get something smaller. Maybe you go a little bit smaller, and that helps in the beginning. Maybe you go even a little bit smaller. Okay? So you can see a little bit smaller. And then you're doing that for a little while and you're feeling really confident and comfortable because you're like, I am getting what I want. It's hitting the spot. I'm feeling really good about this, but I'm not feeling deprived. I'm not going to bed hungry, or I'm not going to bed dreaming about that special peach cobbler that somebody made that I didn't have any because I was trying to be good. Okay? Allow yourself, obviously dietary restrictions aside, right? Allow yourself a few bites of it so that you don't feel deprived. You don't want to go home at night at the end of a beautiful day with your family and all you're thinking about as you lay your head down is, boy, I really wish that I had had a piece of Aunt Mary's peach cobbler because she always makes it so good. When you deprive yourself like that, it really kind of gets up into your head. It gets into kind of our psyche a little bit, right? Maybe, perhaps, again, dietary restrictions aside, maybe perhaps a better way to address it would be to look at, okay, I'm going to have just 3 bites of Aunt Mary's peach cobbler. I'm going to savor those 3 bites. I am going to enjoy the mess out of it. I am going to love every bite, and then I will be satisfied. Because you did not deprive yourself. And in a situation where, you're home, going even smaller, even into a smaller size bowl, you're working your way down. Look, this used to be your ice cream bowl, and now you're here. That's a huge win. That is a very, very big win. So just little changes. Look at that. Look at the sizes. So much of a difference, but you're still getting the flavor, the taste. You're not depriving yourself. And look, I realize there are times for deprivation, right? I mean, if you are lactose intolerant, ice cream is not going to be your friend. If you are gluten-free, if you cannot eat gluten, how many times have I had to say no to things? But over time, I'm completely fine with it. Like I really don't have any problems with it. Eating out or being with family or a church gathering or anything like that, because I know that if I eat that because it has gluten in it, it will make me so sick, and it is not worth it. I have been there, done that. It is not worth it. So I don't feel deprived, but what I do is I will maybe, if it's food, if it's not a dessert, I will maybe bring a protein bar or bring something that I know I can eat, just in case there's not stuff there that I can eat. So until I can get home and make myself a meal. Generally, there's going to be salad or fruit, cheese, things that I can eat a little bit of, and I'll be just fine. So you have to know yourself the best. You have to be your own detective and experience, making these small changes in a way that does not feel depriving, because you don't want to feel that way. Okay. So I hope that show and tell was fun. So the ninth lifestyle change that you can make right now is get moving. Okay? Get moving. Move that body. You want to have fun, healthy movement. So that does not mean movement that feels like you are on the treadmill for hours. You are that hamster on the hamster wheel and you can't stand it. You hate every minute of it, but you're pushing yourself to do it. Why? Because you think you have to. Nope. We're done with that. We are done. Listen, we have gotten to this point in our lives when we're in midlife where it's like enough of the people pleasing, enough of the doing what we think we should be doing. God is the only person that we should be getting our authority from, right? Like he is our ultimate authority. So if you don't like your gym membership and you drag yourself there 2 or 3 times a week, but you hate every minute of it, give it up. Put that extra money in your pocket and find something that you love. Find something that you enjoy. So that could be literally just taking 15 minutes every day to move your body. That can be putting on some worship music and doing some dancing, or putting on your favorite 80s music or your country music, doing some dancing, whatever that is. You might enjoy making it a priority to get outside every single day on your lunch break, which I highly recommend. Getting outside every single day for 10 minutes at least, minimum 5, but everybody can take 5 minutes a day to slip outside, get away from their desk, get away from the fluorescent lights, get away from their computer screen, get away from the demands, and go outside, breathe some fresh air, listen to the birds, get some sun on your face, and just be outside. And if you have a few extra minutes, just walk up and around the building maybe, walk down the side street, just walk a little bit. But then you've also got some great videos that you can look up on YouTube where you're doing these HIIT workouts, which is high intensity interval exercises, interval training exercises. So you're really just doing a big burst movements for a few minutes, and then you're resting for a few seconds, and then you're doing it again. Usually it's like 60 seconds on or 50 seconds on. Everybody has kind of a different flavor of the way they do it. But You can do those HIIT workouts in your office just for a few minutes, because when you're starting to get that afternoon slump where you're just getting really sleepy and your brain's not firing all the way, get out of your chair and do those exercises. If you have a yoga mat and you have enough space in your office, I would recommend having that for sure, because then you can get on your mat. It's cleaner. And you can do some of these exercises if you want to do some floor type work, but you don't have to. You can do some of these HIIT workouts. You can do a nitric oxide dump, which is very interesting. And you can do that all standing up. And it's just a few minutes. The nitric oxide dump is actually 4 minutes. It's 4 minutes. So everybody can take 4 minutes to move their body in a way that helps their brain and their body. You are going to go back to your desk more alert. You're going to feel better, and you're going to mentally and emotionally feel better because you did something for yourself and you feel good about that. So you're just going to have that energy boost. You're going to have a clear mind, and you're just going to feel a lot better. So, and those are all wonderful benefits. But even if you're just stretching gives you such wonderful benefits for the whole body, brain included. So I encourage you to do that as well. Okay, what I love about kind of doing your own flair, right? Doing whatever you love to do is you can really bring God into the whole mix. We're so short on time. So sometimes our quiet time might not be as long as we want it to be because we have to dart out the door. So we can bring God into that. God cares about every single detail of our lives, even our exercise. So, we want to maybe perhaps create a playlist for yourself of worship music. So I wanted to just kind of read off some of the ones that I have. So for like a power walk or something, or maybe a HIIT workout, or just something like that, if I'm just doing it off of memory, I'll listen to Switchfoot or Toby Mac or Hawk Nelson, 10th Avenue North, Sanctus Real, and Sidewalk Prophets. They're just a few of the groups, the bands that I have on my playlist. And then for more of my stretching, where I just kind of want to slow things down, I want to be more in tune with, what God might be saying to me, or especially if I'm going through something that day, I want to really slow it down, and I want to listen to more purposeful worship music. So I'm slowing it down, I'm stretching, I'm listening to vertical worship, Rhett Walker, Travis Cottrell, Zach Williams, and Carrie Job, just to name a few. So it's just really nice to create your own playlist of worship music, however you want to do that. And the other thing I'll do sometimes, if I don't want any music around, I don't want my phone around me, I just want just my thoughts, and keep my thoughts centered and aligned, that vertical relationship with God, I will recite scripture as I'm doing each stretch pose or something. I'll recite from memory, like Psalm 23 or Psalm 91, or not that I have those two memorized all the way, because different Bible translations, it keeps tripping me up, but I'm working on it. But just some of my favorite verses in the Bible that I want to focus on. So yeah, I definitely recommend you find what works for you. So just to review, number 7, you're going to add in to crowd out. Number 8, you're going to use a smaller dish. And number 9, you're going to get moving with fun, healthy movement that makes sense for you and for your body. Remember, you are a perfect individual. You are created fearfully and wonderfully. And what works for your cousin might not work for you. So you have to find out what works for you. And that's the thing that you do. And that's the thing that is going to help you to stick with, because you enjoy it. And it just becomes part of your day. So I hope that this blessed you. I hope that it challenged you. And I hope that you were already thinking about some fun, healthy movement or ways that you can implement any of these action steps. And so I would love to hear from you and tell me what you've implemented or are going to. You can message me at michelle@treasuredwellness.com, and you can shoot me an email there. And also, if you would like me to have your eyes all over your food and lifestyle and give you a quick one-off review, you can also message me and we will get that started. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day. And Lord, I just pray blessings over these women. I pray that you would encourage them, bless them, and lead them down the path that you have for them today. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, remember, you are a beautiful treasure.